speaking of self-medicating, this seems like a perfect segue into tonight's episode.
What are we self-medicating with? Yuki's tits.
I
Penis.
mean,
Someone's tits are
mean-
happening right now. It's just
Furry cat
all
I think the medicine in question here is probably Black Lotus, but sure, cat tits. That could also be it.
I mean, yeah, that also is I mean, it's possible, but I mean, have you seen her tits? They're pretty
The
great.
real question is the extent of Tabaxi physiology. Is she more human or more cat in the boobs department? How many boobs?
How
does
many?
Yuki-
It's not boobs. It's how many nipples.
oh, why you gotta make it weird?
Because you took your shirt off.
No, you took all your clothes off.
You took
Yeah.
all your clothes off. All of your clothes are off right now, and it's the best thing that's ever happened.
Did
I was
we need a
trying to get
distraction?
naked. You got naked.
Did we need a distraction? Is he
I don't-
distracted?
This is
You're
a
welcome.
distraction. I
You're
think
welcome.
it's just giving him what he wants, and this
You're
is not
welcome.
me judging you. This is me going, yeah, girl, get it.
You're welcome.
I'm thankful because I almost died last week laughing so fucking hard.
It is a good question, though. Is it are we having Tabaxis as more human-like or more cat-like? Because that is a pretty big distinction.
I'm
Yeah,
going.
when you take your clothes off, do you want to describe what it is that everyone's seeing right now?
Not really.
I have posted the official scale in the Discord. Please select the number 1 through 5.
Hold, please.
Yeah, I think we all just went hold. What is
Yep.
happening? And we're clicking on it. Oh,
I feel like we're between a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like it's at like 3 is like the base.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
2
like
and 3 for sure.
3 is at the level where if you're like not wearing clothing, there is enough fur that like you don't get
Winnie the
censored.
Pooh rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone likes their honey. What they're referring to, we could discuss later.
If Yuki ever says, "Oh bother,"
You know she's going to now.
Full Winnie
Oh
the
my
Pooh.
god. Oh my god. When Yuki comes up with her plan, she goes, think, 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 and puts her little pointer out.
Oh my god.
Well, that's a thing. That's a thing now.
Man, we're about to get sued by Disney. Here we go.
I don't know.
First of all, Winnie the Pooh is public domain. It's
Not the
red shirt
version
on.
that Disney has with the red shirt.
Yeah, that's why I said not the red shirt. I don't see anybody with any shirt on at all right now, so I
That
think
is
we're fine.
the current situation.
Yes, the current situation being that our party has just traveled over from the Sailor's Haven, where you met Rocco the Yanker, who was
We did.
the bartender there, and Boran the
It's
Dwarf,
pretty cool.
who was one of the workers at the Goldwater Trading Company, who fed Professor some information about
Not drugs.
about the drugs.
That.
Rocco gave you a little bit of stuff about, he saw Lorenzo and Sophia, but doesn't know where they went after that, but did mention Sophia flashing a red coin to Lorenzo before they took off. So with that string kind of in suspense for the moment, the party decided to pursue the drug angle and went down to a
Lovely little place.
lovely little place called the Gilded Oasis, a nightclub that's in the entertainment district that is mostly patronized by, we'll call them the idle rich, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into the dance floor, and there are lights and music bumping from a piece of Arcanotech like DJ equipment that Naruto is very intensely studying at the moment. The rest of you kind of fanning out, kind of keeping an eye open as you saw Yuki and Professor Team Backdoor come up through the kitchen and head right into the VIP room where we met Silas, a half elf who is in this VIP room that you have been told could possibly be peddling this drug. Yuki and Professor going under the guise of people who just belong there and people who work there, got into this VIP room and were immediately instructed to take their clothes off as expected. Professor, however, being the more industrial of this crew, asked for payment up front, which he got, and then Yuki promptly stripped. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So, I will bring you all back to Tremonto.
God, how many daggers Reverie has every time I open her character sheet.
Yeah.
That's because we gave her so much shit that one time and she fixed it.
So
did
many
fix-
daggers.
It was me. Ren called her useless and
It's
she
funny.
took that to heart.
Oh.
The solution to this would be if you could just give yourself like arrows. You're allowed to adjust the quantity. Can't do that with daggers.
That is true.
Really, you can't?
Uh-uh.
Should make
Huh.
a custom item.
Interesting.
I have a custom dagger.
So here's our boy Silas, who is in this VIP room. There are others kind of just around this VIP room that are in various states of inebriation. Some from drugs, some from alcohol. Yuki getting naked. Silas gives a nod approvingly, and he says, "Great, let's get started. On the table, please," motioning to Yuki.
He's so polite.
Right? He is very polite. Yuki will glance at the professor and arch an eyebrow.
The professor looks between them, and then he just kind of wrinkles up his nose. Like, Yuki, put your clothes back on. Sorry, Silas, right? I think there's a misunderstanding. We're not here to dance naked for you. And he will, in a poof of smoke, switch back to his human form. And he'll say, we're here to find out who's providing you, who your supplier for Black Lotus is.
So Professor switches back. I think Silas is caught a little bit off guard by this. And you see he stands. He moves a hand under his cloak. He pushes it ever so slightly aside. You see that he is armed with a short sword.
The professor's just going to hold up a hand and just say, I wouldn't if I were you.
Oh, really? And
Mhm.
why not?
Oh, I don't think it's necessary to get into what ifs. A fox with 3 tails who transformed before your very eyes into a human, a Biodo monk, just walked into your super exclusive VIP room uninhibited. I'm sure you can use your imagination to surmise a reasonably reliable assumption about what could happen if you don't listen.
Give me an intimidation check.
Come on. That is a 14.
So he kind of purses his lips. He sits back down. He pulls his cloak back over his short sword. And he says, so what do you propose?
Well, you tell me who your supplier is. We go on our merry way. You enjoy your evening. I'm sure your furry friends that you're expecting to actually get naked, you keep put clothes back on, will show up in no time. You'll have a great time. You'll have nothing out of the ordinary to tell your friends tomorrow.
Seeing the tension ease a little bit and feeling like Professor's got control of the situation, Yuki will start to get dressed.
Silas looks at you. He looks around at the room that has... They're in no shape to fight. Looks back at you and says, how about I tell you nothing? And if you don't leave, I call the bar staff to drag you out of here by your short hairs.
Does sound fun. Here's another one. Yuki. You horny lizard.
Yuki will nod, and she will start to advance towards Silas. And while she does that, something magical will happen.
Just hold
did you
up
just...
until I give you the. And I'm going to polymorph Yuki into a Triceratops.
Okay, you did say horny lizard.
Yep. Yes, he did.
I was
Now,
expecting. It sure as hell like the one he was expecting.
listen. Tell us.
As Yuki advances towards him, as she starts to shift, she will begin to growl.
See, it seems to me, Silas, that it's probably not entirely out of the realm of possibility that someone of your caliber who owns an establishment like this might be harboring a dangerous exotic animal like a Triceratops somewhere on your location here. And that should such a dangerous animal get out of hand and cause damage, and heaven forbid cause any bodily harm to an entire bar full of nobles, you probably have to have some explaining to do, and nobody's going to believe that two furries just walked straight into your VIP uninhibited, not questioned, and just threatened you. So how about it? Tell us what we want to know and we'll leave. No problem.
How about what if either of you, give me an intimidation check with advantage?
Roar.
What's your intimidation look like?
I have +1.
That's +1 more than I have. I've just had some really good rolls.
Get him!
Dice that made you get naked.
Don't use that one.
That one's gonna
Yeah,
fail.
don't use that one. That one likes a 1, not that one.
Yeah.
All right. With advantage, you said?
Yeah.
All right. That wasn't great. That was only a 6. And that was a 17. 17 plus 1, 18.
Okay. So as you approach Silas, he kind of does that thing where he tries to like back up into the couch, but he has nowhere else to go, and he has his arms up. And he kind of looks at you in your Triceratop eyes. You clearly see him looking at the horn coming from your nose.
Oh yeah, it is perilously close to his horn. And slowly advancing and growling still. And I would also like to step with one of my Triceratops' front feet on his feet so he can't escape.
You realize how much a Triceratops weighs, dude, right?
That's a him
Yeah,
problem.
you're breaking his feet.
I mean,
Yep.
he can heal.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll as a Triceratops.
Oh, hold on. Let me give you let me find the Triceratops stat for you. It's not gonna go well.
I'm sure it's not going to go well.
Make sure you use
Make it with advantage.
All right.
non-lethal, please.
Better. So that was a nat 1 or a... Wait, where's my... Remind me, do I get any bonus to attack roll, or is that just straight roll?
It should be just whatever's in the Triceratops stat block.
Oh, you just sent me a thing, didn't you?
You would get a +9 on top of your
Oh, fuck yes! That is a 14 plus 9.
Non-lethal, non-lethal, non-lethal.
Non-lethal, 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 non-lethal.
I've never seen a Triceratops be non-lethal. I don't know about that.
It's a Yuki Triceratops. They do
Oh,
balance.
fine.
They do violence.
Roll,
I am balancing you on my horns by your stomach.
roll
Yeah.
damage. Roll damage.
Sure.
You can use your horns or your feet.
Okay. This is amazing. Okay. That's 5 plus. Oh wait, never mind. I'm doing this. Horns or feet. Let's do feet. We'll do it this way because that's too much math.
I see the roll. Let's see. love how you guys just kind of barged in here, shook this guy down. This could totally have been just.
Could have just had a conversation, man.
We could have, but come on.
Could have walked in through the front door.
Also, yes.
I mean, you didn't have to follow.
So you move forward threateningly. You step on his foot. He will essentially be grappled, restrained.
Perfect.
You hear a crunch under your foot as you crush his foot. He kind of arches backward, his eyes shut tight as he clenches his teeth and just kind of groans it out as you feel the bones in his foot just mash. And he kind of opens his eyes again, looks around to the professor. His breathing has quickened in pace. And he says, "You might as well kill me, because if I tell you, I'm going to be dead anyway."
Well, you could tell me, and what we do to them could save your life. I did for all of this to go to waste, and he kind of gestures to the whole room.
Yeah, let's see what the other people in the room are doing.
Oh man, I never seen a Triceratops before.
That's kind of what you get for about half the room. The other half are slowly getting up and making their way around the edges and exiting. Unless you guys want to try to stop them.
I won't stop them.
I won't stop them.
So those of you out in the club just see like 5 humanoids just kind of like subtly like slink out of this VIP room and just scatter.
That is odd.
I'm debating whether or not that would be enough commotion to concern Nariko. Let me roll to see if she's still really preoccupied with the blue papers.
We just see people leaving the room and just going back into the crowd.
Yeah, so I will actually give you an insight check.
Any of us?
Anyway.
Wow, cool.
Insight.
Oh, actually, my insight's very good. That's a 13.
Hey Ren, do you know shit tonight? No,
And
you don't know shit tonight. That's cool.
13. 5. Narco really into this DJ.
He's really
thing right
distracted.
yeah,
now. Ren and Jade, though, you see these people come out of the room, and it's like, it's weird to kind of see so many people come out of the room all at once when you haven't seen anybody go in or out since you've really come here, aside from seeing Professor and Yuki go in. But you do kind of notice that as they're leaving with their full bottles of alcohol in hand, they are kind of like looking over their shoulder almost to make sure that like nobody is following them out.
That is odd.
well, Yuki and Professor haven't asked for help. I think Jade will. She's still on the dance floor with Reverie. So she'll. I mean, Marcus and Narco went up to the DJ, so I think she'll look for Ren.
Hello.
And go find Ren. Ren, when we were coming in, and everything, and the Professor and Yuki went to go guard the back exit. Did you see that they went into that room over that way?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a couple people leave.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal? I've never been in this kind of place before.
I believe you're asking the wrong member of the party. It does seem odd, though.
Should we try to go over there, or should we leave them? Do you think Yuki has a plan?
He usually has a plan. Is that supposed to be reassuring?
I didn't see a dwarf here yet. Oh no, there's a man. Should we go? Should we try to find Naruko and try to go to that room, or should we just watch from out here and make sure nothing catches on fire?
Perhaps we should get a little closer. Leave Naruko to her excursion. She has limited time to get to know this Marcus fellow, but we will move closer in case there is trouble.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Oh, well, maybe we could just find one of the. Oh no, they're gone. I don't know which of the people were the ones that came out of the room. Yeah, okay, let's just get closer.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the.
So you guys are getting closer to the VIP room then.
Oh yeah, we're gonna creep right on up.
It's pretty well blocked from the main floor, so to kind of, if you want to see anything of what's going inside, you're gonna have to kind of peek the curtain aside. But I will say, actually, give me a perception check as you get closer to it.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at that. Okay, never mind. I'm really fucking good at that.
My dice don't really want to do stuff today. It's only a 10 for Jade. She's very distracted by everything.
The loud
I got a
Holy
nat 20.
shit.
Yeah, the loud music kind of distracts you, Jade. It's hard to kind of really get a beat on where you even are currently. But Ren, you kind of hone right in, and like your senses just come online right at the moment when you would hear Silas kind of like try to bite back a loud groan of pain as his foot is crushed.
Someone is in fear for their life.
Really? How can you tell? Who?
I
Where?
can sense it.
Where?
Ren points generally towards the VIP room. That way.
Is it Yuki or Professor?
I very much so doubt it. It feels too chaotic.
Oh no, you don't think they've hurt anyone, do you?
Ren will just give Jade a sideways look. Like, really?
Just gives Ren that hopeful, like, they wouldn't do that, would they?
Ren
Kinda
says
look back.
nothing and continues walking that way.
She'll follow.
Are you guys going inside?
Is there anything?
Yeah, let's go see
going
what's
inside?
going on.
What was that, Jade?
Is there anything that stops us from going inside, or is it just a curtain? Like anyone could just walk in there?
It's just a curtain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go inside.
And I think, Naruko, if you were to kind of look up, and I'll let you decide whether you do this or not, but if you kind of look up from the DJ booth, you would see Ren and Jade and Reverie kind of like start crowding around this VIP room, start peering inside.
That would be enough of a move that Naruko would realize that things are progressing on Team Furry's side. So she will start heading over in that way with Marcus to kind of serve as further backup, depending on how the other three react to their peek behind the curtain.
So I think the group of you kind of show up inside the door as you see Professor standing there in humanoid form now, with a Triceratops in the room, with its foot on this half-elf's foot. He's kind of clutching onto this couch, holding on for dear life.
Oh no.
And Professor, you can kind of see that, and the rest of you too, kind of see this as you look inside. You see that this guy is like waffling back and forth, deciding whether or not he wants to give up a name.
Did you find the drugs?
Yes.
I think Jade sees that in that moment, does not see Yuki, but a giant dinosaur that isn't supposed to be here. She knows where they're supposed to be, she's seen them. And sees the professor standing off to the side and sees this thing menacing this stranger. And she screams.
Jade, you must calm yourself.
I think hearing Jade scream, Yuki will turn her Triceratops head and look.
You gotta gore him in the process?
No, she's not gonna gore him. She's
could
careful with her horn. Oh, Jesus.
On a nat 1, Jade's scream does not appear to alert anyone else around you.
Okay.
It's a very loud club.
Yeah.
So, but that happened, and Jade immediately pops her Twilight Sanctuary.
And you all of a sudden feel that the Triceratops starts benefiting from it?
No, because I get to choose who my ally is, and that's a monster, and it's attacking a man. So the man is the one who gets it, not the Triceratops.
It's fine, heal him.
Jade.
It's fine. Problem solved.
Professor just holds up his hand and just says, "This is Yuki," in a polymorph, and looks back to Silas and says, "Tell me what I want to know, and we'll keep your name out of it." And he'll use that opportunity to create another one of those red coins and just sort of do that thing where you kind of flip it over your knuckles, just enough to see him, so he can notice a flash of red in his hand before he sort of palms it and it disappears again.
Ooh. Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
That's a solid 5.
Amazing.
Would you like to take one of my inspirations, Professor?
Sure. 13.
You see, he pushing through the pain of his foot being crushed. Silas sits up, and he kind of stares at you for a moment, Professor. And he goes, "Crimson coin. How did you get one of those? You're not Red Hood."
Tell me what I want to know.
No, you're definitely not Red Hood.
Yuki growls.
Lorenzo! It's Lorenzo!
Is Lorenzo Red Hood as well, then?
It's Lorenzo Red Hood. He's the head of the Red Hoods.
Yuki, get off of him.
That is useful
Yuki.
information.
Yuki will take her foot off of his and step back.
And
Sit.
I will cast Cure Wounds on him. 12 healing.
I'm not sure if Cure Wounds actually puts, like, bones back in place.
Maybe it'll help his pain a little bit. I don't know.
But you can kind of see, like, his face eases a bit from the amount of pain that he's in. You see he starts kind of rubbing his ankle, which, I mean, I guess thanks to the Cure Wounds, isn't completely crushed anywhere. It's still not great. And he kind of grunts a bit and looks up at you and says, "Am I supposed to thank you for that now?"
No. That is a peace offering. I think I will... You know what? Yeah, I'll put him through the gears a little bit. I will also... You'll see him just sort of reach his left hand out, and this sort of shadowy, voidy sort of tendrils start to crawl up his arm as his right hand begins to glow this silvery glow, and he's going to reach out and just he'll like sort of kneel and touch the broken foot and use cleansing void to heal it further.
He kind of stares at you as he watches you kind of take this spell. Marcus is in the back, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. He is like staring at this, and is like, his jaw is open, his eyes are wide, and he is beside himself at the moment. He's, a little bit of, he looks like a little bit of shell shock at the moment. He did not expect this, of course.
Just another Wednesday night.
This is another Wednesday night for you. It's not even Wednesday.
Wednesday, negotiations day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Whew.
Usually Yuki is not a Triceratops, though. It is an interesting form choice.
I'll release concentration on polymorph so you can turn back.
You see Silas kind of stares at you, Professor, as you cast this spell and you pull back, and he looks thoroughly confused, and he says, "Are you sure you don't know Lorenzo?"
Oh,
Trust me, I'm
he
about to.
knows something. Has Lorenzo used those abilities?
I've seen something similar like that. Except
Indeed.
it's not helping people at all.
It usually doesn't. Has
Does
anyone else wielded those?
I've only seen Lorenzo.
Fascinating.
Does Lorenzo's abilities scare you?
I've seen magic before, but what he's got is otherworldly.
It's nothing to light a fire and burn a person. Imagine the skill and strength it takes to wield that same power to heal.
I sure as hell never seen that before.
Listen, Silas. My word is my bond. Today. Your name will not come up. At least not from me. I don't know about them.
Kind of
What name?
Kind of looking around at the room of the people who are just kind of like half conscious. They're kind of smiling up at you, Professor, and Yuki, and they're just kind of like reaching out, like trying to touch you.
He's a dinosaur.
That thing that celebrities do when they go out and people are trying to touch them, where you just sort of like bat at their hands as you run by.
Yeah, something
Oh
like
yeah. I think Yuki is gonna do that sort of like kind of matrixy don't touch me thing around those hands.
The Triceratops.
No,
Under their flailing hands.
she's not a Triceratops anymore.
Oh no, I missed that. Go back to being a Triceratops. That was fun.
No, she's back to normal Yuki, clothed because she did put her clothes on before she was changed to Triceratops. I think Yuki will go and stand next to Professor and look at Silas and say, "Where do we find them? The Red Hoods."
that wasn't part of the deal.
You know, there are bigger things I could change her into.
Yuki will growl and step forward.
On the north side of Tremonto, at the edge of the shipping district, they have a thieves guild. They have a building there. And a new place has been unlocked on the map.
Hey! Man, we have to go back up to where we just were. I'm all over this damn town. Good thing I got 4 legs.
So he gives you the location, and he nods to you, Professor, and he says, "You're gonna need that crimson coin to get in, since you apparently aren't familiar with them."
Good to know.
Your assistance is appreciated.
And just he's getting ready to leave, and he's just one word of advice: when your furry friends do arrive to dance for you, maybe try a please. Would it kill you to be a little more polite?
He just kind of like sits back in his chair, and he looks up at you and just kind of shakes his head. You see he reaches into his cloak, and he pulls out an eyedropper, and he goes to uncork it. He's clearly about to drop it into his eye, unless you want to stop him at this moment.
He's gone through enough. Let him.
Yeah.
Let him get it.
Yeah, let him zone out. He's earned it.
You see, he proceeds to put one drop into each eye.
I think before they go, Yuki will walk up to Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Ren, before we leave this establishment, are you able to see if there's any sort of void magic or corruption.
Generally, I only seek it out in particular individuals, but I can attempt to do a more broad sweeping. Nariko, would your device be more capable of a broad sweep as opposed to a more specific focus? Neville's muted if Neville's here.
Hello?
There you are.
There you are!
I'm sorry, I missed if someone was asking
It's
for me
okay.
specifically.
Ren wanted to know if Nariko's device for sensing void can do more of a perimeter sweep versus his ability, which is more person to person.
Yeah, Joe.
Basically, Yuki wants to see if there's void bullshit
Bullshit.
here.
When activating the wand, you know the direction of the nearest creature affected by at least one arcane corruption counter within 30 feet. So yeah, it can be used as sort of like a general sweep, kind of zone in on the nearest, most potent source of void corruption.
Yeah, once you send the professor away.
Yeah, I've got 4. And I also just use void magic in here, so it's probably just like stinking with it. But
Maybe a little.
Yeah, you're right. It's okay. We're going to see the Red Hoods. She can,
Yeah, that's
She
where the
can get
void
info
shit's
there.
at.
Yeah. That's cool. Yuki will kind of take that in and all the points and say, we will have to wait and see what the Red Hoods have, if they have any void there. And she will turn and start to walk away.
Using the wand, Narco, you'll pick up that Professor Jade, Yuki, and Reverie all have levels of corruption. You do not detect anybody else having it. You guys do also know that a detect magic would also pick it up as well, if you're looking
know
for
that is me.
more like ambient effect.
Oh, that's a jade.
yeah, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes ritual casting it.
Once
We can wait.
Yuki and the professor have stopped talking to him, Jade's going to go to Silas. Are you okay?
He kind of looks up at you, and you give me either insight or medicine check.
2
Dude's
minutes.
fucking zonked.
22.
On a 22, you can see that the drug is pretty fast acting, so it is starting to kind of take hold, and his eyes are starting to blink independently.
Oh, that's so funny with that visual.
He kind of has a half grin, and he says, "Hat."
Hat!
Yes, this is my hat. Are you okay?
He gives you like a sleepy nod as he starts to sink back into the couch.
Can I do like a medicine check on him to see if anything is still broken or if what this drug is doing to him?
I don't think you need a medicine check. I mean, his ankle is still definitely broken.
It's still broken. Okay.
Oh yeah. But the cure wounds is kind of like starting to help mend it, so like it's on its way back to being better, just not there yet.
Is there anything I can do to help speed it up?
You could try to set the ankle.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to do that.
Oh.
What do you need me to roll?
That would be medicine.
That is going to be not good enough, so I'm gonna use an inspiration. Oh, much better. That's gonna be an 18.
On an 18, I think you can reasonably get it back aligned again so that it should knit back together properly.
Great.
So you guys leave him to his drugs and his couch?
Yeah, the professor is probably like, as Yuki's doing that, the professor will have headed out, kind of nods at Naruko and does one of those claps Marcus on the shoulder a little bit, like, attaboy kind of thing, and sort of head out and wait for people to follow.
Marcus kind of looks at you, Naruko, a little bit bewildered. Doesn't say anything, though. So you guys heading out?
Yep.
Alright.
I think Jade just goes to be with Naruko.
Naruko, having been sort of deliberately sort of keeping herself out and away from this exchange, just sort of overhearing what went on, just kind of gathers up Jade and Marcus to head outside. Definitely feels like this particular episode could have been handled a bit more elegantly.
I don't understand what happened.
Yuki's not allowed to do plans anymore. Let's just say somebody's plan ended up with both of us in that VIP room with a demand to take our clothes off and then finding ourselves at Sword Point.
She's gonna look at both of them and say, "So they threatened you to take your clothes off?"
He like makes a face like, not exactly. Anyways.
What happened?
He looks at Yuki. He's like, well, Smarty Pants, would you care to explain?
Yes, please. I would like for someone to explain why we walked into a room and saw. We're supposed to be better.
Yuki sighs. She says, "We walked in the back door and we were told to go directly to the VIP, which we did. We walked into the VIP after trying to get some information from bartenders who were not exactly forthcoming or helpful or pleasant in any way. We walked into the VIP area and were given 2 envelopes of money and told to take our clothes off. As we attempted to get information before things escalated, Silas began to get suspicious and to not draw attention to I try so hard to not draw attention to the VIP suite where we were trying to get information on the location of the drugs and Red Hood and possibly even the cult. A distraction was needed, so I took my clothes off to distract Silas, and it did work temporarily. Upon attempting to get information again, now that he was not as irate, our plan again began to cause an escalation in behavior, and he was going to pull a sword to cause us harm and to call security, thus raising suspicion and alarms, and she'll kind of twitch an ear after listening to Naruko and say, less elegantly handled. And so we opted for Plan C, an intimidation by Triceratops.
So, you walked into the room where he paid for you to do something. And you told him you weren't going to do that. You were there for information. and you weren't going to take his money, and you were just here to ask questions, and then he threatened you with a sword?
Yuki will sigh. Not exactly. We took the money, but then tried to ask him questions, and he became irritable. So then,
So he
To just-
became irritable at the people that he paid, who were not doing the job he paid them for?
to be fair, we were not the ones who were supposed to be taking our clothes off.
But you took the money, and you pretended that you were. And then you turned into a giant, terrifying animal and crushed a man's foot.
A Triceratops. And to be fair, I did not know how strong the Triceratops would be. I am only glad I did
But you
not
did
sit
it
on him.
anyway. Why was not one of your plans to just leave?
And to not get the information that we have been seeking.
There were more of us. You didn't have to hurt anyone.
As previously stated, I did not know how heavy the Triceratops' foot would be when I stepped on his. It was not done on purpose or to be malicious. I only meant to hold him there.
We're supposed to be better.
One cannot be One cannot be better or perfect all the time. Sometimes plans do not work out as they are planned, and you have to improvise.
You have to terrify people and hurt them instead.
Yuki will open her mouth to say something, and then she will shut it, nod, and turn and walk away.
That was all very exciting. Well, since there was more of us, what did you guys find?
Nothing. We've only been here for a few minutes, and then we saw people running out of the back room.
The music was too loud and the lights were too bright.
I see. Too loud and too bright to try and find information for the first couple of minutes? You were there?
Yes, unfortunately, our plans didn't include going up to people and trying to hurt them in order to get them to talk to us.
I mean, in my defense, neither did ours. That was not unfortunate byproduct. But here's the thing. I don't think, and I stand fairly firm in this, that there was going to be another way to get that information from that man. Granted, it was less elegant than I would have preferred, but effective.
It's amazing what people will do when they're terrified.
Amazing what people will do when they're terrified, and they know what that does when they terrify other people.
Yeah. What a good guy to be the bad guys.
Well,
So long as you're not hurting people that just don't deserve it, I guess. Right? I'm sure he deserved it. Because he didn't give you what you wanted immediately.
I'm sorry, you seem to be under the assumption that we went in there guns blazing and threatened his life.
No, you just went in, stole money, and then did not try to come. You just went immediately to going and trying to intimidate and hurt him.
That's not what happened at all. We didn't steal anything from him. He gave that to us freely. He didn't ask for it back when I said what we were there to do. And not once did we try to intimidate him within an inch of his life or anything like that. We simply... That was in response, a defense response, because he was ready to attack. didn't like our lines of questioning. And so, yes, we could have just left, hoped that he didn't cut us down in the backs, and then being the owner of this fine establishment, knowing exactly who we belong to, i.e. this group and that man, it points to Marcus. So in the moment, I think that was not handled great, not handled poorly either.
Except they didn't know. Did they? Because that's the whole reason you went in the back. Now they do.
Didn't know what?
That you were with us. Or that you were with Marcus. Not until we came in to see what was going on, because we were worried about you.
That's true, and you have a point. Perhaps next time.
And now they do.
And then when you see us bleeding on the floor, you can be the one to exact revenge. Because that's what we do, right? We get angry when things happen. We have to go about these things carefully. And you can't be the good guy all the time. And good guy is subjective. We have to do better, yes. We don't need to walk into a room of sleeping people and try to cut them down without giving them a chance to defend themselves, do we? But
I know I'm not a good person already, Professor.
Then...
And I'm trying to be better, and I can't be... Fine.
Your success does not need to hinge on the actions of others.
I don't want to be with people who are going to do that.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but you are. And you have been.
And I don't want to be.
And so I ask you, Jade, purely out of curiosity, what would you have done differently?
I would have gone to get Noriko. I would have gone to get Ren. Anyone. I would have tried.
Down as you turned your back when you went to go get them, then what? We'd have no idea that you were there, dying on the floor bleeding.
I would have tried.
And your death and the impact that you've left on our lives is supposed to make up for that. You did the right thing and you put us all in a place where we are blinded by mourning and anger to go in and do exactly the thing that we swore not to do. Because I swear to God, if you were bleeding on the floor and you had died in there trying to do the right thing, not one of us would think twice about cutting him down and setting this entire town ablaze. So don't think about necessarily the actions that you take and how they impact you, but how they impact everybody. And I am willing to accept that this could have been done differently. But I'm not willing to accept that dying for that man is for 1 second worth it. If you don't want to be around people who care about this group so much that they are unwilling to die for them in this way, then maybe that's something that we need to reflect on.
Maybe it is.
You've died once already. You know what's on the other side. I know what's on the other side. Do you know the hole you left behind? Do you know the hole that you leave behind now? What your papa would do? What we would do?
I can't control other people, Professor.
No, but you can know what the impacts of your actions.
And my actions are going to be to try to do as much good as I can. And if that means that sometimes I have to turn my back on someone who might hurt me because it's the right thing to do, then I'll turn my back.
That's so narrow in scope. You're not considering the greater outcome of your actions.
The end doesn't justify the means, Professor. If it means that I have to go in and I have to attack someone first.
No one attacked anybody first.
Didn't look like it from what I saw.
That's an unfortunate thing. No one attacked anybody.
But you felt the need to change Yuki into a dinosaur so that she could crush his foot. In a room full of people.
Yes, intimidation.
What would have happened
Incredibly.
if someone else had been there? What if someone had tried to attack after they saw that?
You don't think that I could have
They
stopped
didn't know what was happening. If you could have stopped them, why didn't you leave?
Everything we've been through, that we would have been able to stop that. You think so little of us that we've just.
You just told me that you couldn't imagine having something happen because you turned your back on them and they would have killed you. But now you're saying you could have stopped everyone in that room from attacking you. So which is it?
I can freeze time!
Then why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that and then go find Nariko and tell her what was happening?
Because I need to be there to do it.
Right.
I understand where you're coming from, Jade.
I don't think you do. I really don't think you do.
Perhaps there is more to learn. Because this world isn't black and white. And you do what you can to get as close to white as possible, but you will never quite get there. Especially in a world where every time you try to get to white, you leave a little bit of gray behind. Be that as it may. Direct your anger towards me. That was my plan. Yuki had nothing to do with it.
I think Marcus kind of cuts in at this point and he says, it was kind of strange what I saw in there, and I can tell the tensions are high.
Oh, it's just an average Wednesday for us.
It's not even Wednesday. I keep saying it's a Wednesday.
Every day's Wednesday if you're uncomfortable enough.
Is Wednesday typically an uncomfortable day for you?
Are you uncomfortable?
Kind of.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Gentlemen, please. Marcus, you had an insight.
Yeah, sorry. Whenever we argue sometimes in the Goldwater house, and things get a little heated, it feels like there's no end in sight. We like to take some time for ourselves and try to cool down and try to reapproach the situation with try to approach with a more level head. It's been a long day for you all. It's been a long day journey for me too. I've already seen so many things I never thought I would ever get to see. I think perhaps we should take some time for ourselves and perhaps wind down for the evening and maybe approach the situation with fresh eyes tomorrow.
I think that's a good idea. I have no intention of going to the Red Hoods this evening. We need to have a better plan in place before we're anywhere near there. Professor, Yuki, Jay.
Yuki's not there. Yuki walked away.
Yuki, by the way?
Yeah, Yuki walked the fuck away. When Jade wasn't listening to her, the 3 times she said she did not mean to hurt this person, Yuki started to say something, shut her mouth, and walked the fuck away. Yuki's waiting outside.
We are all outside.
Well, then Yuki's down the street because she was like, "I'm not gonna." Yuki recognized that things were not being heard, emotions were high, and she was not going to contribute, so she just walked away. Wherever you want to say she is, but she walked the fuck away.
Professor will just do a thumbs up, and he's like, "Agreed. We have a target. We know where things are. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon."
What I would like for you to do during this time, where we can calm down from all of today's events, I want you to both remember that you are two of my dearest companions. You're part of Mystic Mechanicus. You are both amazing people who bring perspectives that I lack and I value. But I need a team. I need people who can understand and support each other despite those differences. And I'm not saying that right now. So, let that go. Let it simmer. I'm going to work on figuring out what we can do going forward. That'll be my responsibility, not yours. Do you understand?
Professor just kind of raises a brow and nods, looks over to Jade, and just says, "When the time is right, I look forward to having a discussion together, perhaps over tea."
Night, Professor.
And he'll just say, "See you first thing in the morning. I'm going to go find Yuki." And he'll casually walk off in the direction that Yuki went.
Palazzo Goldwater is open for you to stay at this evening if you wish.
I'm uncertain if we should pile everyone in together right now. Space might be advantageous.
Also, your house
You
has
still have.
a bit of nullifying my magical abilities, and I don't like that.
Alright, will join you if you still have more apples.
The garden produces plenty of apples daily.
Excellent. Let us go.
Reverie and I are going to go to the rest house. Will you be alright, Naraka?
Naruko gives Jade a nod and then leans in and gives her a kiss on the cheek, and she says, "I'll be able to take care of myself. You do your thing for yourself, alright?"
Well, whoever would like to join me back at Palazzo Goldwater, I'm happy to escort you back. Brutus and I, of course.
Yep.
No, go. Happy apple chop.
Yep. So Narco and Ren are going with Marcus to Palazzo Goldwater.
Mm-hmm.
Jade and Reverie are picking the rest house for their evening stay.
Yeah, that's where
Anyone like it?
was, right?
Yuki had said earlier that she would stay at Palazzo Goldwater to make sure that Narako was safe. So I think she will make her way back that way. If you want, we can yada yada that, you know, she and Professor met up and she kind of let him know where she was going to go, and we can RP it if you want. Or just say they chit-chatted quickly and went on their way. It's up to you.
That's completely up to you guys.
I'm good to yada yada. I mean, the type of conversation we would have is probably the same kind of conversation we've all had a million times. So you could probably expect what could have been said.
So I think when you guys get back to the palazzo, I think Yuki, being super speedy and super fast, she'll be kind of waiting outside.
You like speed walking.
Yeah.
Would you have Professor catch up with you en route, or are you just hightailing it and doesn't matter?
I think she would have walked away, but I don't think she would have been too far, because though Yuki does not like conflict, she realized that no listening of any quality was happening, and she wasn't going to participate further. She still loves her friends and cares about them and wouldn't have been too far, so if something were to happen, she could have stepped in. So I think it's probably Professor walked around the corner and fucking Yuki was right there in the shadows.
Okay. So I've got Yuki, Naruko, and Ren all at the Palazzo. Jade and Reverie heading to the Civic Rest House, which is the inn that is close by to the Palazzo. It is in the like the Civic District. Professor, where are you going to wind up this evening?
He's gonna wander the streets for a while, and he'll probably spend a lot of that time up in the North End, just sort of getting a lay of the land and seeing the types of people who walk around here. He'll probably.
Didn't you say you were going to stay at like the tavern or something?
Well, he's still there to meet up with Borin at first. Like that was his plan, but probably end up back at Sailor's Haven.
Fair.
Okay. So kind of gauging the area around the North, Professor, are you going anywhere near where the Red Hoods were pointed out?
He'll probably, I mean, that's pretty close. Like, probably not going to go like close enough that people from the guild like notice him lurking around or anything like that. But he's going to try and gauge the type of people, because that's kind of like a little island that's separated by two bridges. So he'll probably watch the type of people that come and go over that bridge, but not actually get up close.
So I would say kind of watching around. So as the night starts to get later and later, less and less people are kind of out and around. If you kind of keep any eye at all on this building where the Red Hoods were, where you were told the Red Hoods were, you'll see that there are like lanterns that are lit outside the building. They stay lit all night, but no one really comes or goes from that particular building. The foot traffic around here is kind of sparse, because this is kind of more as you get further away from like where the Goldwater Trading Company is. This is more like a residential area, so there's not a whole lot of foot traffic other than a few people just kind of meeting up at the end of the night and kind of going their separate ways. So nothing really important is standing out. Is there anything else that Professor wants to do this evening?
No, he'll probably spend the night here. Is Sailor's Haven just a tavern, or is it like an inn also?
It's an inn as well.
Yeah, he'll spend the night here.
Okay. For those of you going to Palazzo Goldwater, anything Anything special any of you are doing this evening?
Finding apples. I have a priority.
Is it so late now that it would be inappropriate for Nariko as a young lady to take tea privately with Marcus?
No, any time before you decide you want to go to bed for the evening, it is perfectly acceptable to meet up for tea, and you can go to the kitchen, one of the smaller like dining rooms. There's even like a breakfast nook somewhere you can probably tuck away to. Like there are plenty of places that you would be able to meet up for a tea prior to bed.
Gotcha. Narco would like to do that to discuss some things with Marcus. She also wants to try an experiment while she is in his company.
Okay.
She would like to surreptitiously pull out her twin note at some point and activate the buzzer feature to see if Marcus is in fact keeping his twin note on his person.
Are you doing this like noticeably? Are you doing it in front of him? Or are you just kind of like, are you kind of like activating it from like the inside of your pocket or something?
More the latter.
Okay. Are you doing this while you're at tea with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you all return to the palazzo, now that Marcus is safely inside the walls here at home, Brutus will kind of split off, and he will go off, kind of do his own thing. So he will kind of leave the two of you for the evening. So the bodyguard is not around as there's kind of like a regular presence of staff, kind of, in and out, making sure that everything that you guys have everything that you need. So there's plenty of eyes on you intermittently from time to time. So kind of the situation where the bodyguard doesn't really
no ability to get up to Italy canoodling without someone finding out.
No, yeah, something like that. So as you guys are having tea, you kind of you fiddle around with your twin note discreetly, and you do not see any reaction from Marcus with regards to this.
Noted. In that case, Narco will take tea and say, well, an unorthodox first day out together, but what are you thinking, Sir Marcus?
You guys get into some situations, huh?
Oh, all the time. And believe it or not, it's not always our intention to do so, but
do you regularly have these disagreements with each other? It seemed pretty intense, and I must admit I'm not so great at breaking the tension sometimes.
Fortunately, I'm much the same way. It's not an everyday occurrence by any means, but one of the side effects of surrounding yourself with very interesting, very passionate, and very principled people is that disagreements are much more intense.
I can understand that. My father and Uncle Oliver, they sometimes get into some disagreements about how to run the company. Um, Nothing major, of course, but uh sometimes when ideals clash, and they're both very passionate men, and they both very much believe in what they're doing, and of course you both only want the best for the rest of us. So um, I can see how that could come about. It's difficult, And I feel like the more you care about somebody or something, the more passionately held your beliefs are, and the more you tend to, I guess, well, fight for them isn't quite the phrase I'd like to use, but I think you understand what I'm getting at least I hope.
I do. I think also when you're butting heads with someone you care deeply about, they're the last people you would want to feel as if you are wanting. Makes you all the more fervent to defend your position. I do want them to see each other a bit more, though. They want to do good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they both have run into their mistakes pursuing that. And I as well. Marcus, do you consider yourself a man of principles?
I consider myself so, yes.
Do you have something that you cherish so strongly that you would die to see it fulfilled?
I guess, very much like my father, I'd like to see the Goldwater Trading Company continue in perpetuity and prosperity.
Yep.
I guess, though, truth be told, it sounds almost silly. I never really said this out loud to anybody before, and you see his eyes kind of searching the room just to see if there's anybody that might be around listening. And he says, I would much rather be a performer. But the family business is the family business, and it must go on. But I've always held the hope that perhaps, maybe that could be something I could do on the side.
What draws you to performance? Why do you feel that a stronger calling than business and social literacy?
You know, ever since I was young, my mother always told me that it's important to make sure that you are in sight of people, so they don't forget you and they don't forget who you are. And I guess that always kind of stuck with me, because how else could you be in the public eye than on a stage? And sure, business kind of satisfies that in some ways, but I find the content to be rather dry sometimes.
Are you hoping someday that you'll walk the streets and people will know you on sight? That they'll swoon over Marcus, handsome Marcus, from all of our favorite stage plays?
It's funny you should mention that. I mean, I could walk around Tremonto and people already know who I am, and that's not the kind of notoriety I was looking for, and neither the swooning, honestly, if I'm being honest.
Mm.
It's more of a, I want to be inspiring. I want to be inspiring like you and your companions.
Mm.
I I don't know if the adventuring life is for me. Just the little taste that I've gotten today, I think would fill my appetite for quite a while. Although, still, don't get me wrong, very interesting, of course.
I think that's something I enjoy about the adventuring life, as you say. I think for me, I've always had a desire to fix things, to tinker, to build, to find problems or inefficiencies and solve them so that people can live better. And adventuring does give me a chance to solve some particularly nasty problems, but like you say, when you see someone rise up, challenge what seems impossible, and miraculously make a difference, it inspires other people to do the same. Remind them that they have that power. I think it's nice that you want to shine on stage, give people stories and memories that can inspire them. That's really all it takes to be a hero. It's just those few moments where you prove that the better part of us exists. I think that's why Jade was so very upset at Professor tonight. And I think Professor, for his part, doesn't want to allow a bad decision or an unattended risk on his part hurt someone he cares about. But I can't just go up to them and tell them that they need to figure that out for themselves between them. It's why I was very hesitant to interpose, but that's still something I'm figuring out as a leader, I guess.
You have quite a way with fixing the physical and the mechanical. Fixing... You would think that fixing relationships shouldn't be much different, but they're much more intricate than the gadgets and the gizmos that we hold in our hands.
In that department, I would think you would be more suited. Emotions are tricky things, but someone who can speak to the heart through art, I think, would be better suited than myself.
That is a good point. That is what the stage of balance is not. It is conveying that emotion and bringing people together and finding creative ways to resolve our differences.
Okay. With all of the excitement tonight, you said that you had perhaps had your fill of adventuring. Does that mean that when it comes time for us to go knocking on the door of the Red Hoods, that I'll have to leave you at home?
Oh boy. that is that is a question I have asked myself. I find it exhilarating, but to face off with an actual thieves guild, I don't know. Do you think someone like me would stand a chance?
On your own? Not in the slightest.
Oh, certainly not on my own.
But it only takes a few moments. There is something you might be able to help me with.
Oh?
If we want access to the guild, and we don't want to do so through barging in the door, guns blazing, we're going to need a red coin. The professor has his sleight of hand, which is passing well enough to intimidate the low-level crook, but we would need something far more substantial as a forgery to make it through the door of the actual guild themselves. I was wondering if you had any ideas on where I might be able to not necessarily acquire such a coin, but at least get a good enough look that I could make a convincing fake.
See, Marcus kind of frowns a bit. And he begins to kind of think and roll over his memories. And he says, well, we could check in with... Alright, so there's a couple of thoughts I have on this. They're likely to be active during the regatta on Wednesday. If we can catch one of them in the act, perhaps we can get them to give up their crimson coin. My other thought is... There's a woman named Livia Moretti. She runs a company called Verdant Holdings over in the shipping district. She is on the edge of a breakthrough right now in renewable and sustainable building technology, and it's really an interesting concept. You see, her company, they get paid by the Goldwater Trading Company to take some of our... It's not what it sounds, but they take some of our waste, basically, byproduct from shipping. They take, distressed, like things like distressed wood and things that would normally go, into waste. They actually wind up recycling them. They came up with a very interesting machine that can do this, and they turn this into sustainable building materials. And they have a vision of creating housing for the people of Tremonto, and I guess eventually around the continent, that is sustainable and more affordable, so that people of all walks of life can afford a place of their own. But she has the misfortune that every time they're about to unveil this machine that takes these materials and creates something new from them, they seem to get attacked, ransacked, and it kind of puts them back to square one, where they have to build their machine back all over again. As you can imagine, this takes quite a bit of effort and capital on their end to rebuild what they've lost. Unfortunately, the guard hasn't been able to do much about that. They never see anybody coming or going from the building, but suddenly, one day, it'll all be destroyed. The materials that they've acquired and their machinery just destroyed. And nobody really knows how or why, but Livia did mention one time that there was a red coin that was left behind. And I don't know. Perhaps if you see her, she might still be hanging on to it. And we wouldn't have to worry about a forgery. You'd have the real thing.
Fair enough. And even if the coin is no longer available, it wouldn't be too difficult with a day or so of work for me to speed up the process before the machine could be reconstructed enough to tempt another burglary. In which case, it would be effectively the same as your plan with the regatta, just more on our terms.
Without having bait, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I guess it is still kind of bait, but it wouldn't be a person.
Always better to not have live bait if you can help it.
Yeah.
That's quite clever, Marcus. For someone not completely on board with the running of the business, you know its ins and outs fairly well.
I mean, I'm aware of a number of the dealings that we've had, and it's been really beneficial for us because we pay Vernon less than we would have to pay a waste removal company, and we have the benefit of contributing to a good cause. It just makes good business sense to do it.
Whose idea was it for this partnership?
It was actually Uncle Oliver's.
Does seem like one of his ideas.
He was trying to find. Well, when Livia approached him with a better way to get rid of refuse, it just seemed like a win-win.
Joe.
Yes.
I have not been taking super detailed notes for this campaign.
Sure.
But we did get a rundown on like the 3 big families of Tremonto. Was one of those 3 families noted as being like real estate focused?
I think so.
Hang on. I have been taking really good notes.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I've said about the other families so far. Is the only reason why.
So, let me go back to my thing. It's this one. Belafonte's business is in construction and urban development. The D'Oro family is in banking and loans, and the Goldwaters are in shipping.
Wonderful.
There you go.
So
Yes.
Naruto is just going to mentally file away the Bellaforos as likely to be paying off the Red Hoods to be causing this ruckus as a potential threat to their business interests.
Okay.
Because, again, Naruto is under no illusions that this is not a mafia town at this point.
Fair.
So, yeah, no, the guards... Oh, it's so weird. The guards never seem to catch the people responsible. Who could have seen that coming? Anyway, Naruto will sort of nod and say, I think that might be a very fruitful tack for us to take, Marcus. Would I be able to call upon you to be my escort tomorrow and perhaps introduce me to the proprietress of the business?
Sure, of course.
Lovely. And after a moment, she's going to say, I was meaning to ask, have you been enjoying the gifts I sent along with my letters?
They've been, they've been really interesting. Although this notepad that you sent me, and he will pull out his twin note from his pocket, and he kind of puts it on the table. He says, I guess this might have run out or something. I can't quite get this to work. And you see, he kind of scribbles on it, and the ink just kind of like stays there. It doesn't do anything. It's like a regular old Post-it note.
Fuck!
Oh no!
Alright, well, Now the question is whether or not Naraka writes an angry note and is like, "All right, fucker, who are you?" Making me think my Marcus was nice boy. He's just a regular boy. I mean, he's nice, but he's not secret agent nice. I've been catfished.
He's
Or have
just
you
a
been
nice
double
boy.
catfished? If it turns out to be the butler, though, guys, he is kind of hot. Is all I'm just saying.
So Naruko would like to let me take a look, as if she's like inspecting the note to see how it is. Is this a twin note, but one that is like been inactivated, or is this just like a regular piece of parchment that someone swapped out?
Give me an investigation check.
I'm good at that. That's a 26.
This is like straight up from Staples and not what you got from the Gardevoir.
Oh,
It's from Ye
no.
Old Shop.
Naruko will sort of nod as she places it down. Is there... I can't use detect thoughts or detect magic in this place to be extra sure, but I will leave it to a perception check, I guess, to see if there's anyone, any sense I get that the walls have ears at the moment.
Yeah, give me perception.
Okay. Oh, okay. That 20 says we are go. That is a 28.
I think the impression that you get is that, in a literal sense, the walls don't really have ears or eyes. You don't see any signs of like any kind of like magical like scrying or anything like that. The house staff coming in and out, though they don't really pay that close attention to your conversation. Um, they're not like purposefully like eavesdropping or anything like that, but you would know from your own experience that even the house staff, even from bits and pieces of conversation, they can infer enough where they can kind of get the gist of some of the stuff that is being talked about. Kind of like have you ever seen movie The King's Man?
Yeah. No, actually, I've not.
So like they basically like it's a little extreme and not what's going on here, but like they kind of concoct a plan that it's like, oh, who are people that can walk around these houses, that see and hear everything but are basically unseen and unheard themselves. It's like, oh well, it's the house staff. So we could use this as a network of spies to kind of find out what's going on, and
Yeah.
it's nowhere near to that extreme here, but kind of like the same concept. Like, the house staff can sometimes know more than they let on, but there's no one like paying particular attention to what you two are doing or discussing.
Okay.
So I think the general gist is like, no, there's nobody that is like purposefully like listening in or eavesdropping, but this stuff can be overheard with people coming in and out, catching bits and pieces of stuff.
Okay. So Naruko is going to take a gambit. What check would Naruko need to make in order to find like a particular play that has a plot about like lovers exchanging secret messages? Because she's going to try and use a reference to that to try and use innuendo to inform Marcus that his mail's been tampered with. A history check for cultural stuff? Performance check because it's stage plays? Like, what do you think?
I would say history. I'd say either one of those would work. History, for historical knowledge of works of art, performance for just familiarity of performance.
I will go with history, as I am more intelligence than I am charisma. That is 21.
I think you would easily be able to kind of recall something that you could make a reference to in terms of like a stage play.
Yeah. So Narco will look it over and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Marcus. It appears when I had like Botticelli or whatever fucking name it is, uh, deliver this to you. I fear he may have mixed up your gift with another."
Let's see if Marcus gets it.
Can I give him guidance? Is that possible?
I think you should try. I don't know. I don't got faith in him.
I
He
would
looks too pretty to have much behind his eyes.
I would say yes, but the anti-magic crystals in this house say no.
No! Spoiled
Oh
again.
no!
I'll tell you what though, because you're speaking in terms he can understand, I will give him advantage on this check.
Mhm.
Oh, the gracious DM.
Okay. That is a 22. You see, he kind of blinks and it like clicks, and he goes, "Ah, well, sure these mix-ups happen. Um, I'll look into that."
Oh, indeed. Although, Mariko has one more twin note. Because I definitely purchased as many as I could from the carnival. So Nariko would like to slide over the last of her spare twin notes to Marcus and say, yes, most unfortunate though. Well, we'll have our pick of places for the honeymoon. Maybe I can take you out to Rose Coast and you can see for yourself. My letter certainly didn't do it justice.
Ah, wonderful. You are a very gifted writer. You know, that's coincidentally, I've always been meaning to get to the Rose Coast myself, and I think part of the reason why Mother says it's always important to kind of be in the public eye is perhaps to spend some more time out of the house.
Indeed, it can be. It's comfortable, I'm sure, but stifling every so often. Well, it seems we've made some plans for tomorrow. It's quite late. I thank you again for taking us out on the town. By all means, should you have need, she sort of like subtly gestures towards the twin note that she handed him. I shan't be far.
Marcus smiles and he says, "Thank you. I appreciate that." And he will, whenever you're ready to break for the evening, he will make sure he stands to see you off to your quarters for the evening, which you will be chaperoned by one of the house guests because it's inappropriate for Marcus to do so himself.
Our RB is just there the entire time. Not. All right. Which Narco is just like, all right, which one of these fuckers? But she is keeping herself composed. She is fucking pissed.
Oh, go find Ren and have a hard apple cider.
Or come find Yuki and have a fucking throwdown.
Ren is camped out in the orchard, guys. Good luck getting him out of there.
Oh yeah.
That is only fair. Just had a long scene with Marcus. Naruto will for sure be checking in on Ren and definitely Yuki before she turns in for the night to make sure they are okay. If they feel they have enough to talk about that warrants a scene, we can run through that.
Ren is just literally eating apples to his heart's content. Happy, happy Ren, apples, happy Ren, apples.
Servants will continue to
Ren,
pluck apples straight off the tree for you. If you want them, they'll mash them into a cider.
he's just eating them whole. He's so happy. He's got 2 stomachs. He could be here all night, guys.
You kind of see some like murmuring between them. They're like, at this rate, all of our trees gonna go bare. And they're like, just it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I mean, it can't. They cannot. They literally cannot have a bottomless stomach. That cannot happen, right? That's not a thing.
Do you want to tell him no?
Do you want to tell the Death Centaur that we with the welfare guy?
Also, yes.
I don't know what he eats besides apples, and I do not want to find out.
Okay, you want to cut off the Death Centaur? I don't. You're flagged. No more apples for you.
Also, yes.
Get Trevor to do it.
Ugh.
No, we'll go check in with Yuki.
So Yuki would have gotten back to the estate palazzo, and she would have sought out one of the staff members. I'm sure, hanging all over the place. It wouldn't have been difficult.
They're nearly at your beck and call.
So Yuki will walk up to the closest one, say, "Good evening. I am Yuki Mukasoka. What is your name?"
God damn it.
Abby. Her name is Abby.
My name is Steve. Name for the great house
Chad.
of Steve. Heroes all.
My name is Chad.
So what you walk up to is a kind of like younger, like teenage, like halfling girl, wearing kind of like the house uniform. She's got these like big brown eyes, kind of like a dirty, like tan, kind of hair, just kind of cascading down to her shoulders, and she's got a short, but she's got a kind of like a strong-looking stature. And she smiles. She gives you a little curtsy, Yuki. She says, "You can call me Abby."
Beautiful.
Abby.
Abby. I think. Would Naruko walking in with Marcus and all of us filing in, would she have clocked Yuki and like done an assessment of how she is? Or is she focused on Marcus and calming that situation down and all of that?
Yuki is like one of her best friends. Yuki is one of her only friends. So, Naruko keeps a cool head, but she is always concerned about how Yuki is doing. So, yeah.
You will notice that Yuki, her fur is, when she floofs, when she's scared is a different thing. This, looks like her fur is just sticking up. Not in a scared way, but just almost
Tension.
electric. Yeah. As she walks up to this Abby, and she's very, almost very Ren, straight faced, and she will say, "It is wonderful to meet you, Abby. I was invited to stay here at the Palazzo this evening. I was wondering if I might borrow your assistance for a few moments."
Oh, of course, Miss Yuki. What is it I can do for you?
Would you be so kind enough to show me to a room that I would be staying in, and then from there, do you have any sort of exercise space, anywhere that gym or somewhere that oh, she's so mad she don't even want. Nope. Not even 27 paws could help right now. Somewhere that I might be able to get a workout in before bed.
Yes, of course. There's the gym on the first level.
Perfect. Would you mind showing it to me after you show me to what room I will be in? That way I can orient myself.
Yeah, absolutely. She'll take you around the palazzo. And on the second floor, in the west wing of the palazzo, there is kind of a row of guest bedrooms, where Naruko has one kind of at the head of the of this hallway, which is kind of bigger and more ornate than the rest, for clearly set aside for like VIP guests. And not to say that the other bedrooms are shit. I mean, they're all fantastic. They're all very comfortable and very very well done. But kind of shows you to kind of this hallway where there are a number of guest bedrooms that are lined up. So there would be one set aside for Naruko, one set aside for you. They have one set aside for Ren, but you can kind of see that there's a bit of confusion as to how to accommodate a centaur person. But there are others that are set up for your other companions as well, should they decide that they did want to stay here. So that's kind of like the layout of where the guest rooms are.
Okay.
And then she'll kind of take you down to the end of the hallway. There's a staircase that leads down to the first level, where it opens up to like a gym area. So it's almost kind of like it's not like a basketball court, but it's kind of like a basketball court kind of floor. There are, kind of those kind of squishy mats that are laid about. There are various weights. There are like those self-propelled like jogging machines. There are like punching bags, speed bags.
Perfect.
Think about a gym in like the old-timey times with the dudes with like that are kind of like in the singlets with the handlebar mustaches.
I love it.
Think of like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, perfect. Yuki will smile slowly, with no joy behind the smile. It is just really for show, and she will bow slightly to Abby and say, "Thank you for your assistance. I truly and genuinely appreciate it."
Of course, if there's anything else we can do, there's a bell by one of the doors. Just ring it, and it'll ring to the service stations throughout the house.
Yuki will nod, and then she will walk into the room and begin to take off. Not all of her clothes. Let's relax. Everybody else got a show already. But she'll take off kind of her over, like her little vest, her jacket. She'll take that off, revealing like essentially like a tank top underneath. And then she'll like lose the heavier overpants or overskirt. And she's essentially got like, think like shorts underneath or like light pants. Yuki's gonna walk over to the punching bag first, the big weight bag, and she's going to take and she's going to lean her head against it. She's going to breathe in deeply, out deeply, in deeply, and then as she breathes out, she's going to punch that bag with all of her might and all of her strength, as hard as she can. And then having that start the movement, Yuki essentially is going to go ham. She's going to make this whole room her bitch. She will not try to use any spells. She will not do anything super fucky. She is just going, her mindset right now is she is going to work all of the conflict that she feels in her heart out. She is going to replay the conversation with Jade. She is going to replay the hurt that she feels. She's going to replay hearing Jade and the professor in her mind argue, and she is going to use that hurt, anger, pain, all of the things to fuel this workout. And I think when Nargo finally comes to find her, I'm assuming going to room, not finding her there, asking staff member, yada yada, find Yuki. I think she'll find Yuki in the middle of the gym, just drenched in sweat, panting, trying to meditate, crisscross applesauce, with her eyes closed.
Naruko will come in.
Yep. I was gonna say if you're seeking for Yuki, the house staff would definitely tell you where she's at, so it wouldn't be hard to find her.
Yeah. The second Naruko learns that there is in fact an indoor gym, she's like, oh, yeah, Yuki. The only other place would be we have a room specifically for tea. I'm like, okay. Naruko will head to the gym. She will enter through the doorway. She will see Yuki clearly having gone through her paces and now sort of post-workout cool-down meditation. She will nod. She will take off her overcoat and so like her outer layers to Arby, so she's basically just got like her blouse and like her travel skirt. And she will walk over to where Yuki is, and she will sit herself down next to Yuki in the same sort of meditation style that Yuki has taught her previously. And she will simply center herself until Yuki is ready to engage.
I think Yuki will pick up the second Naruko steps foot in that door. She is just, her senses are so hyper aware at this point, because like energy is just crackling from her. Obviously it can't because spell things, but if there were no spell things, it did probably be like lightning holes through many things in this gym.
Well, remember that your abilities, Yuki, are not driven by magic; they're driven by ki, which is different, and that is not blocked in this area.
Yeah. I think Yuki will have not specifically because she does not want to destroy this fucking place. I think in Yuki's mind, she's struggling with concern over the plan tonight, the possible ramifications it may have with the Goldwaters, and does not want to fuck anything else up, essentially. So I think she's probably crackling, but she's not going to have let loose any lightning, anything like that. But she's definitely staticky. And I think taking another few breaths after Naruko sits down next to her, she will slowly open her eyes. She'll say, I would have thought you would have still been with Marcus, Naruko.
Just some light conversation over tea to make some arrangements for tomorrow. He's not quite what I was led to believe from the letters.
Yuki's ear will quirk when she says that, and she'll turn her head and look at you. What do you mean by that, Naruko?
Naruko will sort of like give a surreptitious glance towards a wall, not because there's anything in particular, but just as a like visual reminder of like we're in the midst of Goldwater territory.
Yeah. Yuki will not.
I think the fault for that lies more with the letters than with Marcus. And use that innuendo to imply to Yuki what she discovered about the communication discrepancy.
Yuki will sigh. That is disappointing, to say the least.
The truth sometimes is, but better to have it than not. Naruko will sort of look Yuki over and see like that she's still got that fur for his tension, and he will say, "You know, you taught me meditation. You taught me tea. I don't think I've ever had a chance to spar with you, though."
Again, Yuki will sigh. She'll smile slightly. Maybe another night, Naruko. I fear I don't have the heart for it this evening.
If I may, it seems you have a lot in your mind, and a lot that you might wish to say, but maybe just words are not alone how you could convey it.
Words at this point are unwise. Possibly tomorrow.
Do you trust me?
Yuki will meet your eyes straight the fuck on. She'll say, to my last breath.
Naruko will meet her gaze and say, "And whatever you feel in this moment, know that I feel the same for you."
Do you also have feelings connected to words that are unwise to be said at the moment and might be expressed other ways? That's Yuki speak for, you really want to fucking do this?
No. Naruko, I want to do an insight check for Naruko, if that is allowed.
Yeah.
You may say no. Right now, Naruko is not interested in doing like a performance review of Yuki or like trying to convince Yuki to talk out all of her feelings about like Jay and Professor and everything else, because that seems to be a lot for Yuki right now. Right now, Yuki is tension, and Naruko wants to find a way for Yuki to release that first, and then the rest of the healing can begin. Right. If Yuki is insinuating like, "Girl, you're going to pick a fight," Naruko's response to that would probably be something along the lines of, usually whenever I have a lot of thoughts and words that I don't know what to do with, I grab some tools and tinker. But traveling with all of you is a lot in part about learning new things. And if it seems that one of your ways of channeling that outward is through physicality, I can think of no better person to learn from. And you notice, like, her face sort of shadows a bit. She's like, despite how sore I may be in the morning as a result.
Yuki will think for a moment. And in that moment, she is going to, as balance dictates, she's going to weigh all the options. She's going to think about how much on a tight leash she is right now with her feels. How the last thing she wants to do is physically hurt Naruko and try to look into herself to see if she has the strength to pull those very, very angry punches. After thinking for a few minutes, Yuki will stand up. She will reach down to Naruko with her hand and say, "We best get at it then."
Naruko will take Yuki's offered hand, lift herself up.
I rolled a 5. I rolled a 5, by the way, so.
The dice have a story for Yuki, clearly.
They do!
Naruko, as to be expected, has not ever been trained in, like, martial arts. The most she may have ever gotten was, like, some very, very basic, like, lady self-defense pointers. But she has traveled with Yuki for a while. She can sort of passingly mimic some of the basic fighting style. She has no illusions that she can keep up with Yuki, but what she does intend to do is she does intend to at least, like, push Yuki to actually, like, move and fight with her. How you want to run this? Do you want to do rolls? Do you want to just narrative it out?
We could do an initiative if you guys want to do, like, an actual, like, fight, or we can make it just narrative if you want to do that. Up to you guys. PvP is always a delicate thing to balance.
How about this? Because there are more than one ways to communicate. How someone moves and how they choose to engage in a fight can say a lot about them and what their beliefs in when it comes to, like, combat. So I would like to hear from Yuki how she describes her style when she is facing Naruko, and then I will describe what Yuki can infer from Naruko from, like, a martial artist perspective based on how she acts.
Yeah, I like that. So I think Yuki, again, Yuki is concerned about pulling her punches. So I think instead of going for a more punchy fight style, I think Yuki is going to switch to a very what the fuck is it called? I don't think it's Jeet Kune Do.
Tai Chi?
Kind of like a Tai Chi Qigong sort of knock people down and disarm them by using, like, body weight and gravity as opposed to actually punching in the face, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, holds and throws as opposed to handful of your own teeth.
It's kind of more like judo or hapkido.
Yeah. Judo might have been what I was thinking of. Jeet Kune Do was the only thing that came to my mind. I was like, that's not right. But yeah, kind of like that.
Naruko, for her part, she is a novice, so like her strikes are wide. You can see them coming a mile away. She does not have her form down, so she's easy to like knock off balance. But one thing Yuki does pick up is when Naruko dives into this, and it's clear that she is kind of like trying to just figure this out as she goes. She will throw out anything, and almost every single time Yuki is able to pretty flawlessly counter it. The thing Yuki will notice is that Naruko never really, like, she doesn't fall for the same thing twice. Like, she is constantly reevaluating and refining every move she's doing each time she does it. And she doesn't seem to be hesitant at all. Like, when she like tries for a haymaker and Yuki like tosses her onto the back and she kind of lands hard from it, and it's clear that she is going to be hurting tomorrow. She does not let the fact that she has been knocked down like slow her down at all. It's just one more data point that she adds into this schema she's building of like how do I fight. There is no way in any universe that even with all of the lucky rolls that Naruko would ever like beat Yuki in a fight. And we're probably without using her magic to even the playing field a bit, there's no chance that she honestly even like challenges Yuki.
Yeah.
But it is very clear that like despite this, like even if Yuki had been in a more aggressive style, Naruko would not have sort of held herself back from throwing herself into the fray and getting knocked out about just for the sake of that little bit of improvement for like the next round. So that would be kind of the back and forth until either Naruko has had the wig knocked out of her too many times to keep going, or Yuki calls for an end. Whichever happened first.
And I think, I don't want to say that Yuki would use kid gloves because she respects Naruko too much to pander. I think she's going to give her a workout, but I think she's going to, in her mind, like calculate, okay, I've knocked her down on her arm this many times, I've knocked her on her ass this many times, I've swept her feet out from under her this many times, and she's gonna make sure to call it before Naruko gets like really hurt, because she remembers Naruko talking about perception, and she remembers Naruko talking about how important it is to present yourself in a certain way, and though Yuki knows that we can all heal each other and do all fun things, she doesn't want to take the risk of Naruko like limping tomorrow or being sore when we have a big fucking day.
Naruko shows up for breakfast with the rest of the party with a black eye. Everyone immediately runs to murder Marcus before hearing the explanation.
So I think that'll go on for, I don't know, a little bit, and then Yuki will bow to Naruko, signaling the end of the match.
Naruko will bow back, sweating, gonna be sore. She kind of wipes her brow a bit and says, "Thank you for the first lesson, Sensei."
Yuki will smile and bow. Thank you for caring, Naruko.
We all care. You cared enough to use a little bit more of the gentle fist for my work over.
There are many different styles of fighting. Not all require a gauntlet and claws.
You're right. And that's why your monastery wanted you to go travel, right? Because if you were only ever fighting amongst your family, you'd only really have that style, all fluff and claws. But you're out here with us. You can learn the hydraulic pressed metal style from RB, and the hoof of 1,000 dead from Ren, and the ranch bench punch thing from I might have hit the ground a little harder than I thought. Yeah, but yeah. I think I had a point in there somewhere on. Did I inspire you to things?
She's gonna smile and put her arm around Naruko, like under her arms, like around her waist, and like kind of give her a little bit of a heft. Not super obvious, just like a little gotcha. Naruko, you more often than not inspire me. Your brilliance and in making plans and
well, I inspire you to keep trying to make plans. You inspire me to get my ass whooped. But we'll be better next time. We're always getting better.
fucking May. Shall we take a walk to the orchard and see what Ren is doing?
I already checked in on Ren. He's got apples.
He also has healing spells, Naruko.
Oh,
Maybe be less sore tomorrow?
yeah. Let's do that.
Let's.
You feel better about tomorrow?
I feel more prepared. I don't know if I would say better.
We gotta take every step, so that's one down. And Naruko will allow Yuki to escort/carry her over to Ren, so she can get maybe some healing magics and maybe some sleepy time tea, and then she can go to bed.
Yuki will give her all of the sleepy time tea.
Ren will heal her, but you gotta wake him up. He took a little nap under the apple trees.
Yeah.
He told the
Yeah, we'll wake him
servants
up.
to leave him a pile just in case he woke up hungry.
Yeah, they're not crossing the large centaur of death. They're definitely leaving pile of apples for you.
Happy Ren, happy Ren.
Apples left like an offering to a fell god.
That's pretty much what just happened.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they left some fish out for Char Char too. They were trying to figure out what to give Dave, but they're like, I don't even know, man.
Fertilizer, I guess.
They left the watering can. It was a self-serve bar. They'll call it. That's it.
I love it.
What is Fred's reaction like when you see Naruko and Yuki, who have clearly been like a bit through the ringer as they come approach Ren in the garden?
What do you mean Yuki's been through the ringer?
Well, Naruko. Yeah.
Yuki had her big workout before Naruko came, so she's probably looking a little rough and ripe too.
Ren is a little groggy as he wakes up and he goes, "Did you have a fun night?"
Not as fun as yours.
Hmm. I do not entirely hate this part of this city.
Ren, have you ever considered writing a travel guide? I think it would be the most. I don't know if it would sell well, but it would be the most fascinating read of my life.
Is this a reference to the humor that your Marcus does not find with me? I find myself confused.
Uh, it. I'm being sincere, but it's fine. I'm tired.
Hmm. Did you two do this to each other?
Yuki just smiles. Would it be too much to ask Ren to heal up Naruko a little bit so that tomorrow she's not so sore?
It is no trouble. Just please make sure you are both being careful in your endeavors. Ren will cast whatever healing she needs. He hasn't used many spell slots.
All right. I would like to cut over to Jay's. I know
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know that we don't have Reverie here, but so not really much of a conversation going on. But I would like to know if there, aside from talking with Reverie, if there's anything that Jade would discuss with Reverie, if there's anything that Jade is looking to do this evening, and just kind of like, you know, where she's at.
So I think Jade gets back to the rest house with Reverie, and they go up to their room like they used to before they met everyone else, and it's just the two of them again. And for a bit, even though she's upset, it feels right for them to just be there by themselves once more. Listening to people downstairs in the tavern after they've had some strange day that neither of them expected to have, and talking about it again because it's new for both of them. And I think this time it's talking about how the conversation's always about how neither one of them really understand this place. And how everything is so strange and different, but so exciting at the same time, even though it's scary a lot. And they haven't had a lot of time to talk by themselves anymore. Too much has been happening. Too many other people that also need things. And now the conversation isn't so much as how exciting the day still was, even though it was scary, and how the things they didn't understand, but maybe they could understand together if they just talk about it tonight. But now talking about how at least Jade talking about how she doesn't understand her friends, that she thought she did. And how confused she is because they had this conversation before. Professors told her she has to be better before. And what changed? Maybe she's the person who doesn't belong here. And she knew she didn't. She's never going to. But for a little while, she thought maybe she could try. and it doesn't seem to be working.
I think over the course of the conversation, David's gonna pop up, and you hear him say, I'm not quite sure if it's a question of whether or not you belong, Miss Jane. It's just, well, people tend to have disagreements and fight a lot, but I think what matters the most is that they care for each other. And yes, I know you've had this conversation before, and talking about it must be better, and you have to do better things, and we have to be, the people that are, striving for good. But I think the one thing to keep in mind is that, uh, people have different ideas of what that looked like, and in the heat of the moment, it's hard to tell what's the right thing to do.
Maybe.
I can't pretend to have all the answers for you, Miss J, but what I can say is, as long as there is concern and perhaps even love for one another, you always want to see the best for each other. Now, that is a two-way street, of course.
I don't know that that's right, David.
How so?
Because I don't think people know what's best that they want. I don't want to be the person who walks into a cave and kills someone because we're afraid and we didn't even try to take the time to understand what we were really doing. And I told Nariko that wouldn't happen again, no matter what happened. The professor and I had a really long talk about it. And here it is, just a few days later. And people were awake this time, but was it really different? Just because they didn't kill someone. Doesn't mean they weren't the bad guys tonight. And I don't know that they had to be. Because it's easier to be the bad guy, isn't it? When you're bigger and scarier than anything else. You just make people do whatever you want. Because isn't that the point? You're too weak to fight back. You're too small. You're too afraid. So you do what they tell you. Who was Silas? Who was that man? Was there a different person who was the bad guy before we were there?
I think that the past is the past, and what you do going forward is what matters. And yes, maybe it could have been handled differently, but I. I think that things are better handled when you all can kind of come together, and perhaps there is more of a conversation that needs to be had about where you all are, to see eye to eye in situations, and perhaps have a contingency plan when things go sideways.
Maybe.
But you all do care for each other very greatly, and I can see that. And
Do you know what's worse about it tonight, David?
what's that?
But no one else was upset.
I don't think that was so much the case. You tend to be more vocal, and maybe you can articulate things where others cannot.
But I can't help but wonder, what would they have done if he had kept saying no?
I can't answer that for you.
I can't either. And that's really scary, David.
Then perhaps it might not be a bad idea to kind of take what Mr. Marcus said and maybe reapproach the conversation with cooler heads. Try not to let try not to maybe try to find more of a compromise in words.
I don't know if what I say matters.
I think what you say matters very much.
It matters to you.
It matters to everyone.
I don't know. Things were easier before.
What do you mean before?
When it was just me and Reverie.
I think there's something to be said about the journey of finding a group and listening to the different viewpoints that people have. It does help you to grow as a person, and in turn, you help you help others grow as well. There's good to be found in that.
I don't know how much good I'm doing.
I think it is more than you realize.
Maybe. But every time we go somewhere, somebody gets hurt. Maybe the professor's right and we're too dangerous to be around. But not because we're doing void magic. Maybe we're just dangerous, bad people.
I don't think you're bad people at all.
I do. don't want to be.
I think that alone sets you apart.
Yeah, but just because you want something doesn't make it true. Especially when you keep doing it. How many times are we going to say we're going to be better? How many more people are we going to hurt just because we can? When you're more powerful than other people, you're supposed to take care of them. You're supposed to have more answers. Buy more things. But we don't seem to do that, do we? Went out today to try and help Sophia and we don't even know where she is.
Well, these sorts of things can't be handled overnight sometimes. Sometimes it does take a bit of effort, but as long as there's something out there putting out that effort, then you'll always be one step closer.
I hope so. David.
Yes.
The Black Lotus that everyone is on about. We saw that man use it today, I think.
I think that would be a safe assumption, yes.
Do you know what magic I could use that would help people who use it?
Well, the effects of most drugs are usually removed by a casting of a lesser restoration. That will help the physical effects, but it might not help with the addiction part of it.
Would there be something I could do for that?
You see the flicker in David's eyes kind of float around a little bit, as you can tell he's pondering the question. And he says, there might be, but I'm not sure if you'll be a big fan of it.
What is it?
Well, if you want to go about it in a magical boots, there are spells like a Modify Memory spell that could help turn them away from the addiction, help them forget about the addiction altogether. Just certain enchantment spells like that would do the trick. Other than that, I think it's more of a case of trying to inspire some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of self-restraint. Perhaps a sense of that they are worth not turning to the drug all the time for whatever means they're turning to it. Really, it comes down to, I think, education and appealing to a more emotional side of things.
If there's nothing I can do then.
It's not nothing.
We're not going to be here for a very long debate. I don't even understand. I didn't even know what a drug was yesterday.
It starts with the physical part of it, I think. Once you get someone physically feeling better, in my opinion, then the mental part of it, I think, will follow. Which is probably not real drug advice at all, kids, so do not take this. Do not take my word for it.
I was really hoping that one of my spells would help with this. Well, maybe at least I can do something.
Did you have any other ideas?
Not really.
Miss Jade, sometimes it does take the seeds we plant a while to grow. And unfortunately, patience is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, I suppose.
Do try to get a little bit of rest, Miss Jade. I fear that so much worry will not be good.
Beta beat.
Anything else for anyone this evening?
Professor hanging out with Jeffrey in the tavern.
I don't think he has Jeffrey out. I think once he's had his fill of whatever the tavern has, he's probably moved his boots and his coat and kind of sits on the bed and kind of ruminates on the events of the day, from meeting Marcus and the crypt, and then the events at the Gilded Oasis. And he kind of thinks to himself. More specifically, he's thinking about how Jade perceived it. And to him, he's like, this thing was especially difficult for Jade because there was a lack of context. This is his take on it. And perception is reality to many people until proven otherwise. And he's not really in the business of trying to prove himself or try to defend their actions in a way that begs for forgiveness, because he still feels like, given the hand that they were dealt in that situation, you still have to play the game. You still have to play, even if it's a shitty hand. And given the alternatives, while he used a less than favorable means of getting information and saving themselves by using fear as a tactic, but times fear is the best tactic to avoid violence altogether. But he think, like, is this something that can be resolved? Is it something that should be resolved? I mean, we've looked at senseless violence and condemned it. We've looked at intentions, and there's always going to be something to sort of figure it out. Like, and he just kind of thinks to himself and sort of mutters, like, wouldn't it be great if you could just deal with all of them? It's no real way to avoid stepping on every knob. And as he says that, he kind of looks down. He hadn't even realized it, but as he's sitting there ruminating and thinking, he realized that in his hand he has like the marble. He's doing like contact juggling with it, just rolling it over his hands. And he kind of stares at it as it moves over the contours of his hands and up his arm. He's just like, people seem to think you have all the answers. What would you do to fix all of this? As he kind of stares at it, not really expecting or necessarily wanting a response, but more just like out of curiosity as he stares at it. And that's kind of going to be the majority of his night. It's just like quiet contemplating and just like considering what this thing and all the other things all means and how he can put it all together.
I think there is just a voice that you hear, and it just is just simple, one line. And all it says is, "Let me in, and I can show you."
You can show me the world, I'm sure. It's shining, shimmering splendid, I'm sure. And you know, one day, you're going to catch me at a moment when I can't say no. And I don't know whether I should be afraid or excited for that day.
Well, with that, I think I am going to end things a little early this evening because there are some stuff that's going to happen overnight, and I would like Ben to be here for that.
Oh, great. We really split the party just in time for that nonsense.
Who's
I
getting
don't like
kidnapped?
that.
Who's getting
Yup.
kidnapped? Please, try to kidnap Ren. He has an extra heavy horse laden with
Of
apples.
the people who've been a kidnap target, Ren has never once been one of them. It's Reverie and sometimes Naruko.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone explicitly been targeting Naruto for kidnapping before?
It's more been like, oh, you're here? We're gonna take you too.
I think it's because Naruto's name is on all the paperwork, so whenever they're looking for the Mystic Mechanicus, she's just the first one that stands out.
Probably because she's there in front pointing her gun saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, hello, nice to meet you. No, I'm not putting this down.
I think there was just that one time with the orcs that kind of blocked the river, where they're like, "Oh, we could definitely probably get a ransom out of this too." How fortuitous!
Score!
That did not go.
Yeah, you thought.
Did not go in their favor.
No.
No,
No.
no.
No,
Oh.
No.
we need more lemon pledge.
Alright, well,
Yes. I will take some nominations for this evening.
everyone gets inspiration.
That seems fair.
Triple inspiration holding.
Jade and Professor. Jade and Professor.
Professor's
Yuki and
got
Naruko.
Yeah. Jade and Naruko. Jade and Naruko.
Jade and
Yuki
Yuki
and
and
Professor.
Naruto and Professor and Ren.
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna eat some more apples.
I love it.
In lieu of inspiration, Ren will take apples.
Old Skull.
He's such a happy Ren right now.
Yeah.
I can't tell him no. This is the best day he's ever had. This is better than Fey rules.
Oh good, Ren has gone mad with power.
Great.
You really thought that was gonna take a while? Have you not been paying attention to him?
Of course I've got mad with power. Have you tried going mad without power? It's boring. No one listens to you.
Lame.
I do think I am leaning towards Naruko. for finding some interesting stuff out. Tea time with Marcus proved to be pretty fruitful for some information,
Mm-hmm.
and I think visiting Yuki as well over that evening, and kind of having this talk spar with her.
Yuki needed to work some stuff out, and she wasn't going to do it unless someone pushed her. So
That sounds like our team.
She still does. She ain't done. That's okay.
well,
She'll take
So-
a workout buddy.
yeah, so it's clear that communication is not going well between people. So Narka's like, all right, how does one speak Yuki?
Punch!
I don't think T is going to work here.
It's not a
So-
team situation.
It's
Mm-mm.
meditation or it's punch. I haven't tried punch before. That'll probably be enticing enough to get her to go for it, even though she doesn't want to.
Even though it might hurt you along the way.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But if Naruto wasn't willing to go through suffering for the sake of her friends, we would not be here.
Fair point.
Fair.
Because she knows deep down all of you would do the same.
Mm-hmm.
If there's apples involved.
I am thinking the second inspiration to Jade for sticking true to her moral compass, and some more introspection on that.
Yeah. Agree.
That's good because I definitely used one tonight.
That's okay.
So I think that's what I'm sticking with.
Nice.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I appreciate Joe somehow getting Naruto to visit every place in Tremonto that does have wacky mechanical things going on, like DJ booth and recyclable materials company. It's just like, oh, and here I was worried I would not find things relevant to my interests.
So many options!
So many options.
It took all of half a day for Naruto to give up on trying to convince Marcus that she was,
A pretty lady?
pretty refined noblewoman type. It's like, okay, okay, yeah, no, we got shit to do. Let's go. It was going to happen eventually. It's just happening quicker because you volunteered, Marky boy. Let's go.
Eventually happened a lot quicker than he was expecting. It was happening a bit quicker than I expected.
Well, don't worry. By the end of this, we'll convince Marcus to form his own adventuring group. I am going to call it Marky Mark and the Funky Punch.
Oh my god.
Hell
no.
yes. Hell yes.
Oh no.
I'm
Let's
here
go.
for all of it. Yup.
Oh, no.
I approve.
That remains the greatest name of any hip hop or band group I have ever heard. And,
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. You can't beat that. It's too good.
Yeah.
And he hates when you bring it up.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
Just why you should bring it up all the time.
It comes from a place of joy.
Just play good vibrations or whatever the fuck that song is. All the time when you walk past him.
Which is funny because I think most people probably associate Good Vibrations with Liliana Holloway, considering her vocals on there.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person who can sing the actual, like, you can recite the rap portion of that. It's all just the beat and the chorus.
That's Marky Mark.
Yeah.
And his brother who is in New Kids on the Block.
Wait, really?
Donnie Wahlberg.
You guys are fun.
Did not know that.
I'm old.
So
I know-
cute.
I know old things.
I don't know if it's so much being old as it is like tuned in to the pop culture at the time.
Mm.
Like you try and ask me who like are the hot acts right now. I don't know shit.
Well, they're all weird. Speaking of weird, has anybody welcome to my life? Anybody looked at the Nutter Butter TikTok?
What?
Definitely not. Go ahead, tell us the story.
It's horrifying. So I
Horrifying?
was reading an article about like Gen Alpha and how like fucking weird they are,
They're
and
weird.
like the shit like culturally that they find like funny. And someone was like, well, she's like, they love the Nutter Butter TikTok. And I was like, now I have to look. It's horrifying, friends. It makes zero sense. It makes salad fingers look normal. Terrifying. It's
I hear people
terrifying.
going to look.
It's terrifying.
I gotta deal with the actual Gen Alphas myself. I'm not dealing with their crap.
It makes no sense. It's like the shit of a fucking schizophrenic's nightmare. Like it's just I don't. And here's the thing: I grew up with Ren and Stimpy. Like,
Right. That's a certain type.
like what is happening? It's terrifying. So you're welcome for the nightmares, guys. If you look it up,
I'm
welcome.
not gonna.
I'm just reminded of the old song of my people. Teenagers scare the living shit out of me. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Pin with that on that got turned into a bow.
all generations. It's like why the young people? Why do you do this?
It's like crazy.
My parents probably thought the same thing when I was like, yes, Pokemon, this is my existence now. And they're like, oh, why?
Pokemon is awesome. That's why.
It's
My little brother-
it's a blue turtle that is also a squirrel, I guess. Why is this what speaks to you?
Little brother finally pulled that foiled Charizard he's been looking for, and his wife pulled a second one. So they're fucking adorable.
Nice.
I am so happy that they are so happy.